Oh, hey there, people. How are you now? It's Wednesday. That's right. Wednesday. I've been doing a lot of filming over these past 3 days. I'm almost at Christmas here for uploads. Ain't that something? Just gonna make myself a coffee. Gotta let the dog out. I literally just woke up. Probably gonna go out there, hopefully, and move that lawnmower into the garage. Let's get the dog tied up. Look at that face. Doesn't he look super happy? Alright, let's get him outside. And away we go. What the? Oh, come on. Look at it out there. Yeah, I'll stay right here, people. So, scratch that plan to move the tractor into the garage. He loves the snow. He's such a weirdo. Just loves it. Look at him. Look at him. Just having a great old time out there. Just loves the snow. If it was raining out, he would not be doing that. But it's not raining, it's snowing out, so he is so happy. Remember, he was born in the winter. When he was just a little guy, about the size of her, smaller maybe, he was outside playing in the snow, just loving it. The bigger the snowbank, the happier the puppy. Right now, we don't have much of a snowbank out there, so the only thing he doesn't like is when it's like minus 25, because he will not wear his boots. Which is fine. Oh my god. Sorry about that, people. I just woke up. He will not wear his boots. I don't even know where his boots are anymore. Put them on him, it's funny. He does this thing where he's like, he puts his foot on the ground, but then he lifts them like way too high to walk. It's probably the weirdest thing I ever did see. But, yeah. It's gonna move that. I don't really need to shovel. How's the end of the driveway? Oh god, it's not even a bump. See, the one time I worked on a weekend, it was actually a weekend like what's coming up right now. A Saturday that's coming up right now. It was a month ago from this Saturday coming up when I worked on a weekend, and I got to work, parked, and the roadway was clear. It was bare. There was no snow down at all. And then I go into the office and start working. And go outside for my first vape break because, well, vaping is classified as tobacco. And you can't vape inside of a building. It's highly illegal. Well, I can vape inside my house because I own the thing, right? But what I mean is, like, you can't vape at work. So, I go outside and what do I see? A foot of snow on the ground. Ooh, somebody wants back inside. You're not stupid. Who's the puppy? Do you have a good time out there? You love the snow, don't you? Yes, you do. You're like a little husky dog, aren't you? Dude, stop fighting me. There you go. Thing was stuck on him. Anyway, that night for lunch, I decided, I forgot to bring a lunch with me, and I was hungry as frig. So I was like, well, let's go to Rotten Ronnie's McDonald's. When you're working the 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift. The problem with wanting to go to Rotten Ronnie's is your lunch falls at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. sorry. That's when all the bars get let out. And it snowed big time that night, so the roads were not plowed yet. Apparently the city dropped this publication on Facebook. They've already spent all their winter budget for the remainder of the year on plowing the roads. We had 2 snow days. This makes no sense. How can you spend all your budget when we only had 2 days that snowed? What they were hoping was like last year or the year before when we didn't get snow until New Year's Day. I'll never understand these government officials that plan their budgets on previous year events. You can't do that. You think that by now they would learn this. That you cannot plan your budget based on what happened 2-3 years ago. It doesn't work that way. You got to plan your budget around potentials, not estimations. You know, it's like our water meters. You know, we had these things installed by a company from Toronto, and after they're installed, the city was like, oh, sweet. Based on previous water usage, we're going to make this much money. So let's spend a bunch of money now, and we'll just take it back out in the new year when the budget's renewed and pay it back. Well, turns out the moment they put the water meters in, everybody was too scared to use a lot of water. Therefore, the money they got back wasn't even a fraction of what they estimated. So they overspent. Went over the budget. Typical. So then they decide, hey, let's jack up the water rates. Let's make it more expensive. They tell everybody, we're going to have to turn the rates up because we didn't quite get the budget. Like, literally saying to us, yeah, because you guys didn't use as much water and we didn't make as much money off you with this scam, we're going to charge you more. So people use less water. Should have seen how many yellow lawns there were out there this summer. How many people just didn't care. How many cars were filthy in the summer because people just didn't care. It's like, if I can't wash my stuff and use water, then it's not like we're California and we go through droughts. It's not that situation. It's the city is greedy and wants money and is trying to find ways to nickel and dime us to do so. So apparently come December or January next year, they're upping the rates another 15% on water. Like, I used to pay $68 a month flat rate because they based it on the fixtures in your house. If you will, I have a laundry hookup, a tap outside the house, which used to be out back, but now it's out the side. I have the sink in the kitchen, the toilet in the bathroom, and the sink in the bathroom, and the shower in the bathroom. That is all that I have that emits water, plus sewage, right, the return. So you do the math on that, and it came up to $68 somehow. Whatever, I don't know their formula, I don't really care. The more bathrooms and stuff that you have that can produce water, like let's say, like for instance, my parents, they have 2 bathrooms, a shower downstairs, a bathtub and a shower upstairs. The bathtub and shower is a combined unit, you know what I mean? Kind of like what I have. And then they have the 2 sinks, the kitchen sink, outlet outside for water. They paid more than I did for water flat rate. Now that they switched it to metered, it doesn't matter how many fixtures you have. It all based on how much water you use. Well, I was paying more on static, basically being charged for the fixtures. $68, like I said. Now I am paying about $52 for the water used because I'm not a family. Like, I don't do laundry. Like, my friend who has 3 kids, her and her husband, she says that laundry machine never takes a snooze. Oh, it's always running. Every night she's putting a load of laundry in and washing clothes. So their water bill went from, under $100 to over $100 because the laundry machine is non-stop circulating water throughout the house. But for me, I run laundry maybe once a week because it's just me. It's nobody else in the house. Even when the ex was here, we may have done laundry 2 times a week, 3 times a week. She put her shit through, then I put my shit through later on. Not a big deal. Yeah, I just think it's funny how it's affecting some people, but not others. But in the end, the city is running really short on the money, so it's obviously affecting less people than they thought. But they already spent the money. That's what I'm getting at. They already blew the money on stupid stuff. So it doesn't make a lick of sense. And now they ran short again, so the solution is to charge more for it. And the whole thing about the water meter that gets me is, guess what they spent the money on that they thought they were going to make? They spent it on a splash pad down at the waterfront. A splash pad. Literally, it's like a concrete slab with sprinklers on it that sprays water so that if you're warm, you can go on the splash pad and get sprayed with water to cool down. Down at the waterfront, where there are 3 beautiful beaches with amazingly swimmable water that you can go into and cool down. That doesn't cost a dime to run because Mother Nature put them there. This is what I'm talking about with this city and its intelligence and the lack thereof. This is why, if I didn't work after hours and it was a Monday to Friday, not only would I get another job to help afford to pay the bills, but I think I'd probably run for city council. Because somebody's got to wake these guys up. These guys are not very good. They're not thinking. They're just blowing money like it's free and not even thinking of the people. You know, how come we're not getting industry into this town? How come we're not getting any sort of real jobs into this town? Like Sears is closing. You probably all heard about that. Sears Canada shutting her down. They closed a bunch of stores, and then we just got told that our store is being closed as well. So that's like 120 jobs gone. 120 people on the EI block collecting the pogue. That's no good. You can't have that. Like, nobody's going to want to stay in this town. You know, Ontario closed. There was like jobs for another 100 some odd people, and just in North Bay, not including up north and such. The ONR is looking pretty sore. They're probably going to shut her down. There's other places that are closing down. It's like the only jobs available in North Bay are the the 10 different telemarketing companies, like the call centers, which that's McDonald's wages at doctor stress level work. Because, well, I wouldn't say that, because doctors have it even more stressful. They're actually dealing with life and death situations. You're just dealing with angry idiots on the phone who expect the top-notch service for not paying their bill. True. You know, there's no reason why we can't get some real industry in this town. The only industry we have is the mining industry, and we got two companies fighting against each other that both sell the same damn products. It doesn't make a lick of sense. So I was tempted to, I'm tempted to say, if whenever I get off this, and I really don't want to get off it because I enjoy the night shift, but whenever I get back on the Monday to Friday, because it will happen, I basically at work replaced the guy who was on the night shift. See, at work, I found out the night shift isn't just the night shift, it's also gut check time. It's basically where they put you to see if you have what it makes to stick with the company. If you pass gut check time, life is good. If you fail gut check time, you're looking for a new job. Simple, easy peasy. But when I got on gut check time on night shift, I'm going to grab a container of water. When I got put on night shift, the guy I replaced was on night shift for about 1.5 years. So it might take me a little bit. I might be on there for a couple of years. But the guy who's the one guy on my team, he's been on there since 2012. So, but that's by choice. And everybody always says, even though we make less hours on night shift, because with the lunch cuts and everything, I think I explained this before, or it may have been the video that I put up on VidMe explaining that I might be losing my truck, one of the two. On regular shifts, like Monday to Friday, you get 36.25 hours. When you work the after hours shift, because it's all stupid, one week you work 51 hours, next week you work 24 hours, next week after that you work 21 hours, and then after that you work 36.25 hours. You actually end up losing 3 hours a week. So it ends up becoming 33.25 hours worked. So the problem with that is you're not quite making the same money. And, you really got to budget your earnings so that you don't fall short on the 2 weeks when you're not getting paid as much. And it's a pain in the cock. Really wish they wouldn't do this, but they do, so what can you do, eh? Just got a deal. But once you get through gut check, you can go back to days and work Monday to Friday. I don't know if I want to, because being there during the day is non-stop, back to back, call after call, annoying. When you work my shift, you got 1 week of that a month. And I just got off that week of that. So that's good. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how anybody can sit there and want to do that there. But this is like the job I have now is the best paying job this town has. I was looking at other IT positions because in case this place didn't work out, because like I said, I'm on contract. I'm not a full-time employee. I don't have benefits. I already talked to you guys about that on the previous video. So I was looking around for other jobs, and there was a couple companies that came up, like North Bay Computer Services, paying less than minimum wage, and you have to be incorporated. Now, what incorporated means is when you get your pay from the company, they don't deduct the taxes. Your job at the end of the year is to pay your taxes and do all your accounting. Now, the owner does give you the permission to claim, what is it? Not profits, but you get a cut of any sales you make. So if you sell a product, then you get a cut of it. Problem is everybody I talked to who worked there said, as they're selling a product, the manager comes along and swoops in and steals the sale, so you don't get your cut. It's like, frig off, eh? You know? So, yeah, I decided to not do that one. There was another place in town that was hiring for like a field service type of job where you're called on. Like they have contracts with all sorts of companies, including the one that I work for. So that when you get called into the field, like when I send a ticket to field services into the field, these guys get the call and they roll out and go and service it. Well, when I found out that they get paid $2 less than I do, and you have to use your own vehicle and rack up your own mileage, and like they pay you, I think it's like 4 cents a kilometer that you put on your vehicle, but it's a lot of driving in a day. It's like taxi cab hours, and I didn't really want to take my brand new truck and rack up 100,000 kilometers every year on it. Like, you know, I bought the truck to drive, but not to drive in a work situation, so I declined on that one. It was also a contract job, though. And the other jobs in this town are pretty much the same, but nobody wants to pay over $22 an hour. Nobody wants to pay over that for IT work. But the amount of work they expect you to do should be over that. And that's what I'm saying with the job I have now. It's like what I'm getting paid right now versus what the people who are full-time they're getting paid. It's not right, and that's when I talked about the 15 in fairness, where that's going to change come April 1st. But anyway, that's not the topic. I'm just talking about how there's no jobs in this town, and the city, actually, Mayor MacLeod dropped a thing on Facebook saying, I don't understand where everybody's leaving. You come here, you get an education, and then you move. Why? This town is great. There's many jobs. No, there aren't many jobs. Not unless you're interested in the food industry, i.e. McDonald's, or you want to work in the inventory industry, aka Walmart. There's nothing to do in this town. There's no freaking jobs. So of course people are going to leave for Toronto or Ottawa or anywhere else but here, Barrie, Ontario, you know, anywhere else but North Bay, because this town is dying because these idiots in council don't know how to freaking do their job. And that's the problem, and that's why I think if I ever go back to days, I'm going to run for city council, and I'm going to try and turn shit around if possible. But then again, maybe their hands are tied. Maybe there's a higher power controlling what's happening with the city, and they have very minimal abilities, like... Or maybe they're just there to collect a paycheck like every other politician. Nobody knows, right? It's a brutal time. It's a brutal time. But what can you do when you live in a shoe, boys? Get ahead and move to a hat. So the other night I showed Logie this really cool program that I use for administering my computers when I'm not home. If I need to get access to a file, I can remote into them, and it works. Now a lot of people use TeamViewer for this, but the problem with TeamViewer is sometimes you need somebody on the other end to accept the request. What I use is called Google or Chrome Remote Desktop to allow you to access the computers. However, when I'm at home, before, when I had the gaming rig up here with me, it had enough power where I could control 3 monitors, have Netflix playing on one, and then the other 2 were just for gaming and streaming or whatever the case of gaming in a wiki if the game required it. However, since I moved the workstation here and now it's the XPS 8300, the horsepower isn't quite there. Okay, yawn. Anyway, the horsepower isn't quite there to run 3 displays and have Netflix playing on one while I'm playing a video game on the other, or doing rendering and whatnot. So my solution was this. I found this program through Linus Tech Tips called Synergy. Synergy allows you to use one keyboard and one mouse with 2 displays. I know this sounds like a sponsored video, but it's not. It's more of an informative video because I'm not getting paid to tell you guys this. I just think the software is pretty freaking cool, and if anybody else out there could benefit from it the way I did, then have at it. Basically, I got this computer down here, and then I got this laptop here, which is currently covered in pill bottles. Yeah, they're ephedrine, another thing that's herb. Okay, and Tylenol for the nights that I drink too many beers. But I got this laptop here. It's an Acer A8, and it's plugged into the TV. And this is where I play all my media from. And then these 2 monitors here are the XPS 8300. So, as you can see, the mouse, I don't know if you can see the mouse, you probably can. You know, it'll span across these 2 monitors, no problem. But then when I come over here to where the icons are, and I go across, there's the mouse there. I'm still controlling it with the same mouse. Like, everything's the same still. So, 1 mouse span across 2 computers. Pretty sweet, right? What's even sweeter is I can drag a file from one computer to the other computer and paste it on that desktop, and it'll take. I can drag a file from, like, for instance, when we do the Mr. Logie Craft updates. If I'm sitting here and Logie sends me the files, I can transfer them to that computer if I wanted to. Or if I had the server, server station running the Synergy application, I could drag it across the 3 desktops onto that one there and call it a day. So it'll do file transfers and everything else. Now, the version I have is about a year old now. I bought it last year. It was 20 bucks. And it's a little bit of a pain to set up, but apparently they simplified that with Synergy too. Now it's basically computer name based. Before it was IP address based, which meant you had to assign a static IP address to the computers that you wanted to span across. Otherwise, it would cause some major issues. Mainly with, you would go to open up your connection, and let's say you restarted your computer, and it grabbed another IP address from the DHCP lease, and it wasn't the one that you had punched into the Synergy. Well, your spanning would no longer work, and you'd be hustling for a keyboard so you can get back on that computer and fix whatever went wrong. Not a good time, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is. So yeah, I think it's pretty wicked. I like the whole setup. I've been using it now for about 6-7 months. No problems whatsoever. You know, I can span between, and let's say you're playing a game like PUBG where you're going to move the mouse a lot. Problem is, when you move the mouse to the right too much or wherever the computer is, the mouse will fall off your screen and go to that other computer. If you hit scroll lock, finally a use for that button, people. If you hit scroll lock, it'll keep the mouse on the computer it's currently on to avoid screen hopping or PC jumping while you're playing a video game. You just have to remember that that's happening and remember to turn it off. That's all. So Synergy, look it up on Google. You'll find it. It's pretty good. Synergy. Yeah. They have version 2 right now. Maybe I can post a link in the description. Let me get a price for you here. Synergy 2, easy to configure. Get Synergy. Let's just go see here. Synergy Basic is $19. Pro is $50. And I don't know what the difference is, but it works on Windows, Linux, and Mac. So back in the day, what I actually did when I was editing on the Mac computer, and this is kind of greasy, I had the Macintosh sitting on the desk in front of me, the Windows PC and the media PC. And what I could do was going left to right, like I could go from here to here, and this is the same computer, and then I would go from here to here to go watch media, and then if I went down, it would go onto the Macintosh. Yes, I know, my computer, my desk is a mess. It's the way she goes. It's a cluster. I think mine's bad, you see my dad's. But anyway, I could edit my video on the MacBook, and then when I was done, I could go back up while it was rendering. I can go back up to the main computer, do what I was doing up there, and then go over to the media computer to turn the movie back on. It was a complete workstation setup. And downstairs in the living room, I have it set up on an old Acer laptop, the i5 that I bought back in the Skaven days. it's set up on there, so I don't need a keyboard and mouse downstairs. I just use the laptop to drive the XPS 9000, so I can have a movie on and I can be on my computer on Facebook or looking things up or RDPing into services and updating Minecraft servers or doing whatever. I don't need a keyboard and mouse. My laptop is my keyboard and mouse. I just gotta get Scampers to stop chewing the power wire on that laptop, because that's a bad habit she picked up, and it's kind of bad. It's not a good time. She chewed a lot of wires, that little idiot. Yep. So yeah, I'll post a link for Synergy down in the description there. Guys can check her out. I think it's a great program. There's probably others out there. If you guys know of another one that you've probably used that does the exact same thing as Synergy, besides being a hardware KVM, because I don't like KVMs, because you physically have to press a button to swap between computers, and this is just a seamless. It's like having multiple displays, but you don't. You have multiple computers. Personally, if I could, and this would be mint if they had it, if I had a desk that I could fit all of my computers on and just have one desk with a bunch of displays, I would have Synergy spanned across it all, and I would use the gaming rig as the controller, and I would have just displays all around me, and it would be amazing. I could just sit there and control everything from one keyboard or one mouse, wouldn't have to get up, and have all these computers at my disposal to gawk at. It would be freaking fantastic. Alrighty guys, I just went and fed the dog and realized something. He only had enough food for today. So, we gotta take a rip over to the pet store and get Stupid some more food, because tomorrow it's gonna be breakfast time, and I'm not going to have anything to give them, and that'll be a bad time. So, I just fired up the truck there. Got a love remote start. It's weird, though. The remote start on the truck works a little differently than how it worked on the GM. Like on my my old Pontiac there, the G6, you would double tap the lock to make the horn honk, and then press the start button, and she'd roll over. On the truck, however, you press the start button twice, it automatically locks the doors and fires up the truck. It's really weird. Alright, let's go out to the frozen frontier here. It's not too bad out, it's 2 degrees Celsius. But, looks like the plows came by. Not too bad. Gotta clear this snow off the truck. And then we'll hit the road and go get some puppy supplies. Alrighty, truck's cleared off. The temperature gauge hasn't budged, but neither have I. So let's see if we can get out of the driveway. We should be able to get out of the driveway for crying out loud. There's nothing to stop me. Alright, let's get at it. Well, one thing I can say for certain is I could definitely benefit for a little bit of weight in the arse end. Mind you, I can always put her in 4x4 and have no problems, but then you get that 4x4 confidence going, eh? Which a lot of truckers get. They got her in 4x and they're pulling along great, and then they go to hit the brakes and they just skid through a stop sign. It's nice to be reminded that the roads are kife right now, so... you can hook there. Oh yeah, spin those tires. There we go. Takes a little bit more to get off on the go, so you just make sure if a car is coming and you got the stop sign, don't try and leap out in front. Chances are you're going to cause problems. But let me just turn down the heater here. It's probably all you guys can hear is the damn heater. But yeah, it's kind of interesting what they're doing with gasoline or not. Well, this is what they want to do with gasoline. It was brought up, a bill's being proposed. They want to regulate the fuel costs in Ontario, because it doesn't make sense how in North Bay right now it's like $1.20 a liter, but you go down the way towards Sudbury to Sturgeon Falls and it's $1.09 a liter, and then you get to Sudbury and it's back up to $1.20 a liter. So why is it between here and Sudbury it's cheaper, but in here and Sudbury it's more expensive? It's because right now the gas stations have the right to charge whatever the heck they want for the fuel they sell, and this is the reason why you have gas stations competing. And then you have this one gas station between Timmins and Sudbury on highway, can't remember the number of it, that is charging like $2.84 a liter because they're the only show in town. Therefore, if you need some gasoline for your rig, you're gonna pay out the arse for it. Not cool. So what they want to do is they want to regulate the fuel costs and make it so that, you know, in London, Ontario, it's the same price as in North Bay, Ontario. Because, you know, like, think about it like on this step. People are like, well, you know, it costs them money to get the stuff there. Well, look at Walmart. It costs money to get all the products to Walmart's, right? But you don't see me going to my Walmart and paying $10 for the same item you went to your Walmart for and paid $5. It doesn't make sense. It's just a greed game at this point. Where if you're the only show in town, if you're like a small city and you're the only show, you can charge whatever you want. People have to pay it because people have to drive, or, you know, want to drive for the luxury of it and the ease of it. So they're at your mercy, and you know this. So this is why this has been proposed, to regulate gas costs across Ontario, hoping that other provinces will adopt the same thing. Because why nickel? Like, it seems like lately the whole objective is for all these major corporations to make it impossible for us little people to survive by jacking up their prices so much that, like, for instance, in Ontario, people are choosing between food on the table and having the lights and power on, you know? It ain't right. It's not a way to live. We shouldn't be living like this. But it's all so the corporation can make that extra bunch of money at the end of the year, and it's horse shit. It shouldn't be happening. So to me, it feels like, I don't know, regulations need to come into play, that's for sure. Things have to stop. They got to stop gouging us, you know. And the worst part about it is, it's not like we can all say, well, then screw it, I'm not going to buy gas anymore. Then what do you do, walk to work? When your vehicle runs out of fuel, you're just going to walk to work and say screw it? Nobody's going to do that. People need to drive. Look at all the cars that are already on the road here. I see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right at this intersection. This is a little shit town, bud. People aren't going to do that. Don't kid yourself. So it's one of those, like, they know they got you by the short and curlies. There's nothing you can really do about it except for make a video complaining on the internet about it, hoping that this regulations thing actually comes through. And they do regulate the cost of fuel, because honestly, it's getting to the point where it's kind of ridiculous. Like, one night it just all of a sudden goes up. It's the same fuel that's in the well. They didn't get a reload. They just decided to jack up the price overnight. The price shouldn't fluctuate like that. Not overnight. Not when they're running on the same fuel. Like, if they bought fuel for $1 and they're selling it for $1.10, and all of a sudden they jack it up to $1.20, but it's the same dollar fuel they bought, that should not be allowed. That's part of the regulations. Now, what they want to do is they want to do a global pricing. So it could happen where you bought fuel for $1, and then all of a sudden it goes up to $1.20. And you're making an extra 20 cents, but it could also happen the other way around, where you paid $1.10 for fuel and now it's down to $1. Now you're taking a 10-cent loss per liter. And that's something the gas stations will have to be ready for. And I'm sure they'll have something put into play for that. Or, you know, the business people will just have to be better business people and be aware. I don't know. But it's like anything. It's like any business, you know? Like, Walmart does it. I like using Walmart as an example, because, like, everybody knows what a Walmart is. Everybody's been to a Walmart. Well, mostly everybody's been to a Walmart. They all know how they work, roughly. So, like, when Walmart's selling their peripherals or whatever, or anything, and all of a sudden it's been discontinued. Well, they bought it at top shelf price, but now they got to take a lost leader on it because that's not the price of it anymore. It's the way she goes. It's just welcome to economics, I guess. The gasoline is the only thing on the market that I can think of. The prices go up and down so freaking much, and it's never the same price at any other station. Like, what were they asking at this MacLeod station here? I don't even see a price tag anywhere. You guys probably do, but I'm looking it out. Unless they're closed. They might be closed, that station. Like, permanently shut down. Maybe that's why I don't see a sign anywhere. But they used to have, this was the only place in town that had E85. And I never had a vehicle that supported E85, so I never got to test it out. Now I got a vehicle that supports it, and the station's gone. Lovely, eh? I know you burn through it quicker, but it's also apparently cheaper, and the performance gains are that of like a higher octane fuel. That's what I've been told. Anyway, oh, I hope the pet store is still open. Otherwise, I guess Oreo's getting real human food. Oh, okay, they're open. I see the open sign. Otherwise, Oreo's getting real human food tomorrow. And I don't like giving him real human food because, man, oh man, does he ever make a mess when he gets human food. And I mean a big mess. Just does not agree with his guts. Alrighty, well, I don't even know where the lines are because friggin' plow job hasn't been done, so I'm just gonna stow my vehicle here. And let's go get Oreo's food. And I'll talk to you guys when I come back, alright? Peace. I can totally hear somebody running their snowblower. Like, the snow is not even a foot thick. Give your balls a tug. Normally I buy the dog the little bags of food, but they had this here on sale for 40 bucks. Regular I buy them the 2 little ones, the 750 gram bags, or whatever it is. This is like 4.5 kilos of food, so should be able to get a couple months out of it. And it was cheaper than buying 2 little bags. Nice. Alright, well, I'm gonna grab this bag and move. Using a knife and the dog charges the knife. You're not the smartest puppy in the shell. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Let's pour this food into the container. Are you gonna try and grab some? I honestly have no idea where we found this container at. Look at him. That's the biggest food bowl you ever did see, hey buddy? That's the biggest food bowl you ever did see. Normally he does a lot more, that's why I filmed that segment, figuring I might get a funny little clip out of it, but that was kind of weak, to be honest with you, boys. Kind of weak. Oreo, that was a weak performance. He doesn't care, he's got food in his bowl. Anyway, people, this video has been going on for a while now, and yeah, this is day 3 of videoing straight, even though they're going up in 2-day segments. On days when shit's slow, I probably won't bother videoing, but I kind of want to get a little ahead, because like I say, tomorrow I start my stretch. And I start working tomorrow until pretty much Christmas Eve. The 23rd is my next day off. So, on that note, this is the reason why I'm giving her right now, so I can get some content up to YouTube for you guys. Anyway, people, I'm going to shut her down here. Wow, my battery's down 2 bars already. Okay, maybe I need a new battery for this camera or something. I don't know. But thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, click that like button. Any questions, comments, concerns, down below they go. And until next time, people, yeah, keep on vlogging.